Do you ever get to a place where you wish you could just call a timeout on life? When it feels like challenges just keep piling up way too fast for you to handle them? You feel like you can't keep up and you want things to change right that moment. You just wish you could hit a pause on it all. I'm Preston, and on this episode of Ally Academy, I want to talk to you about how grounding techniques can be that pause button you're looking for. I want you to try something with me real quick. If you're comfortable, I'm going to have you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold the breath for 4 seconds, and exhale for 4 seconds. I'll guide us. Breathe in, hold it, exhale. Now, what do you notice? Does your chest feel lighter? Do you feel any calmer? Maybe you don't notice anything at all. And if so, that's okay too. Either way, you just practice a grounding technique, a brief exercise designed to calm your nervous system. And sometimes, simply pausing for a deep breath can make a world of difference. Sometimes we need a little or a lot more than just 1 or 2 breaths. The fact of the matter is that we face challenges in our lives that confront us with difficult and distressing feelings, emotions, thoughts, and memories. This stress is taxing on us, and it's only natural to want and need a break from it. And we're going to hit that pause button at some point, either by choice or by necessity. Many of us look for distractions that can grab our attention and let us escape from what troubles us. Social media, video games for instance. Many of us use substances to quiet the pain and frustration in our lives. Sometimes, if our fight or flight response to our troubles doesn't resolve the issues, then our body simply forces us into a state of shutdown to preserve what resources we have. At times in the past, what we might regard as destructive responses might have been all we had to protect ourselves, the only way we knew to hit the pause button. What I want to offer you is the practice of grounding as a way of having control over that pause button in a way that can be more sustainable. So, let's get specific. Let's say you experience panic attacks and you feel one coming on. What's something you can do? Remember these numbers: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Notice 5 things that you can see where you are. Notice 4 things you can feel where you are. What are 3 things you can hear where you are? 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. What's great about this exercise, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique, is that it brings us back into our 5 senses, which brings us back into the present moment. When we experience panic, we tend to lose perspective of where we are, and often when we are. So grounding ourselves back in the present is crucial. Now, let's say you have an assignment due for school or work, something that you feel you should have addressed but have been avoiding. And now all you can focus on is how terrible you feel about yourself, how much of a failure you feel like. Try this. Put your hand on your chest and just tell yourself how you're feeling. It might be, this is really hard, or I don't want to feel this way. Take a deep breath, with your hand slow over your chest. Feel the warmth of your hand. Ask yourself what you might need. I need compassion. I need patience. I need forgiveness. And then see if you can give yourself that. This next one is my favorite to do when I'm feeling frustrated with someone or some situation and I find it taking over my mind. It's called the butterfly hug. Lock your thumbs together and spread your fingers so they look like the wings of a butterfly. Bring your hands towards your chest and start to tap your shoulders with the tips of your fingers, one after the other. Take some deep breaths as you do this and give yourself the time you need. Maybe it's 30 seconds, maybe it's a minute. It may feel weird, but what you're doing is stimulating both sides of your brain, both hemispheres. When we get fixated on one thing, it's likely that only one part of our brain is calling the shots. This bilateral stimulation, as we call it, starts to turn on more of our brain, and we can start to see more of the bigger picture and not feel as trapped. If tapping your shoulders feels too weird where you are, you can tap your thighs, march your feet, or go for a walk. Speaking of going for a walk, taking a walk in nature can be one of the best things for calming ourselves down. We're here in the Northwest, and we're blessed to have so many natural spaces here. And creation everywhere is filled with so many supportive elements. Many evergreen trees release essential oils that have calming effects. Natural patterns in bark and leaves can provide the same effect as well. Many people are soothed by the sight and sound of running water, or the sight of the ocean or a lake, or the sound of waves. If we have the ability to walk through any of these environments, then we can have the added benefit of that bilateral stimulation. If you're lucky enough to have access to natural spaces, parks, forests, or even your own neighborhood, Don't discount the power of even a 5 or 10 minute walk outside when you're feeling frustrated or stressed. I want to leave you with the simplest exercise yet. If you can, feel your feet on the ground beneath you, or feel the seat beneath you. Notice how it feels. This is the essence of grounding. To be brought out of the whirlwind of everything we can't control or don't know how to deal with, and to simply notice ourselves as we are. It's possible that these exercises can give you a sense of freedom from the stresses of your life. But it's also possible that they just give you a brief break in the cycle of worry and self-criticism. Your process is your own, so take whatever time you need to find what works for you.